Hi, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If you're first time listening, welcome. I hope you enjoy the show. Just click on some of the other links for some of the other shows. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you for listening, and I hope you continue to receive value, a little entertainment at times, and some tips and ideas that will help shape your life for the better, one way or another. Well, today I'm going to be real brief because I just wanted to actually get on here and talk about worrying. I noticed that I myself was worrying about so much, and I realized that in my life, worrying in anybody's life can actually be a real terrible thing. It's okay to worry for a few minutes or you know, but I believe that if you worry too long, it can have adverse effects. So I noticed in my own life that whenever I worry too much, I wind up start getting all kind of ailments, sick, or what have you. And eating bad, in my case, is even worse because I'm an emotional eater. So whenever I sometimes feel a little down, a little depressed, I'll pick up sweets, I'll pick up anything and just constantly eat. For the love of food, that's even worse. I love to eat. So if anybody knows me, they know David will sit down and have a meal with you no matter what. Unless I don't like you, I'm not going to eat with you. So I would urge everyone, if you have something to worry about, try not to worry and try to figure out what's the root of your worry. And that's exactly what I had to do. I had to find out what was really bothering me and why. It's not just good enough to know what's bothering you. You have to know why it's bothering you so you can get to the crux of the matter. And I, for one, I like to, sweep things under the rug sometimes. And, my wife was always telling me, you just can't keep sweeping things under the rug and act like it don't exist. It's just going to come around later and it's just going to magnify. So she was definitely right. Now that my wife is actually gone, this is my second week without her. I can hear her tell me so many different things whenever I start to worry. She's like, aren't you the one who always is optimistic? Or you always telling me don't worry about this, don't worry about that. And I had to learn a valuable lesson by giving it to God. Jesus said that his yoke is a whole lot easier, and give him your worries. So I had to learn how to do that. And, I had to learn how to not worry about the things that I could not change, but focus on the things that I can change. And in my own life, that has worked a great deal for me, but more so in the past couple of weeks because of my wife passing. I had to learn how to deal with all kind of emotions, guilt, loneliness, sadness, hurt, pain, and all of this comes at a time where you feel everything hitting you all at once and you don't know how to handle it. And, you have, if you have somebody that's in your corner, then that's great. But if you're like me, you don't have too many people in your corner. You don't have too many people you can talk to. In fact, I can count the amount of friends that I have on one hand. So I don't really have any friends. I don't hang out with people. I don't go to events with people. So I had to learn how to rely on God more and more as I got older. And more now that my wife has passed. Even when my wife first got sick, I talked to God more than I ever talked to God in my entire life. But worrying I'm just going to tell you exactly. It's a dangerous thing to continue to worry, and I'm going to tell you and give you an example why. Um, I realize, building up to my wife's funeral, I had to try to be strong, and I tried my hardest, to be strong and not break down so many times. And what I mean by that is cry and go through a lot of emotional ups and downs, which I still did. But I had to figure out how to deal with the emotions that hit me all at once, because it's just not my wife that we're talking about. It was, losing 5 family members all in a 3 year span. And then my wife, my wife got sick right after my sister and aunt passed. I never really got a chance to, it felt like I never got a chance to mourn their deaths, their passing. And then when I lost my wife, it was unbelievable. It was like all of that hit me at one time. So I had to learn how to, within the past couple of days, I had to learn how to release that and accept it and try to bear with it and pray to God that He would lessen my heartache and lessen my burden, because I got to a point a couple of days ago where I couldn't even get out the bed. I realized that I was even afraid to go out the door. So then I had to say, okay, I had to pray, and I had to say, I have to figure out a way to get beyond this fear that I'm developing out of nowhere, and this pain, this hurt, and so what I did was I prayed, and then I forced myself to get up, and I forced myself out of the house. Didn't have anywhere to go, so I still forced myself to walk out the door and push to go forward and walk to get into the car and drive off, even if it was just to get a cup of coffee, which I had coffee in the house, but I still needed to get out. I needed to focus on not worrying. I needed to take the focus, so to say, off myself and and try to be active doing something. So, and I know it's not easy, because when you look around, you look at the seat next to you, that while you're driving, your wife is not there. You hear a song. I can't even play music yet because I hear everything. It reminds me of my wife. Come on, we've been friends for 43 years. I'm going to feel that pain. And I know all of this will pass. And I know that my wife is in a good place. I understand all that, but knowing all that doesn't change the fact that I'm gonna still have this. I have to go through this grieving, this bereavement period, which is the most difficult thing I've ever had to face in my life. So, and then if I want to add worry on top of that, worry about bills, worry about this, worry about the house, worry about what people want, worry about, it was unnecessary. I gave that all up. I'm releasing all of that, and I won't worry about it. I'll just keep praying and know that God will get me through it. I don't know if you're worrying about something, but I could tell you this. Take that worry, figure out why you're worrying about it. First, acknowledge what you're worrying about, and then figure out why you're worrying about it, and then give it to God. Or give it, if you don't believe in God, then give it to the universe. Release it. But as you do that, do know that you're still going to go through the feeling, the period of dealing with that issue, but it's not going to be magnified to the point where you cannot function, like I was almost at. To the point where I felt I couldn't breathe, where I couldn't function. I didn't even want to come out my room. I was recognizing I was starting to feel that way. So I forced myself to go. I read the Bible. I listen to the Bible as I drive. And today, I forced myself to go to the gym. I haven't been to the gym in a long, long time. You talk about pain, now I got a different pain. I got a lot of pain, but this is good pain. You know, as they say, no pain, no gain. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what I was going through. And if you're worrying, I believe that you have to recognize what you're worrying about. And then you have to not only recognize it, but you have to figure out why you're worrying about it and what's the difference. Is there something that you can physically or mentally do about what you're worrying about? If you can't, then don't worry about that part. Only focus on what you can do. And that's the biggest difference. That's being constructive. That's being positive. You know, don't worry about the things that you can't change. And don't worry about the past. Leave the past in the past. Like Jesus once said, hey, they say, hey, Jesus, you'll have a place to sleep. Hey, but first let me bury my brother. He said, let the dead worry about the dead. And, that's the same thing. Keep the past in the past. Don't worry about the past. Because if you're driving down the road and you're worried about what's in the rear view mirror, eventually you're going to stop driving and you're going to run into something. You're going to crash and you're not going to be able to move forward. So always focus on where you want to go and not where you came from. You don't have to forget where you came from. You just don't need to focus on it. Focus on where you want to go, what you want to do. And I guarantee you'll reach a change. That's it for today. My name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me by email, the last podcast 443@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Until tomorrow, have a great day. Bye.